Welcome to Rodeo 60. I'm Rebel Ciclocha joining you with all things rodeo in 60 seconds or less. It's a jam-packed stretch for Nebraska rodeo fans and athletes. Over the weekend, a brand new class of Nebraska high school rodeo state champions was crowned in Valentine, marking the end of an exciting season for the state's top high school competitors. But the action doesn't stop there. The College National Finals rodeo kicked off Sunday in Casper, Wyoming, where several talented Nebraska athletes are set to compete on the national stage through the week. We'll be keeping a close eye on their performances. Meanwhile, the spotlight also turns to North Platte, where the Miss Rodeo Nebraska pageant is officially underway. Contestants will compete in horsemanship, speeches, modeling, and more, all leading up to the coronation held in conjunction with one of the state's most historic events, the Buffalo Bill Rodeo, which kicks off this Wednesday, June 18th. That'll do it for Rodeo 60, all things rodeo in 60 seconds or less.
It took me a long time to be able to say absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Arrival of the summer solstice means the books are closed for astronomical spring 2025. Meteorological spring, however, concluded once the calendar turned from May to June. So regarding a recap of weather from a meteorological spring perspective, USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey points out,
it was the nation's second warmest spring on record, 24th wettest.
Regarding this spring's warm temperatures,
an average temperature a little over 54 degrees was more than 3 degrees above the 20th century mean and ranks only behind the spring of 2012 in terms of warmest on record for the lower 48 states over the last 131 years, dropping to third place 1910, which was, of course, before anyone was around, but a memorably warm spring a long time ago.
Rippey says that warmth was concentrated across several states and regions.
We had top 10 warmth in Montana and Nebraska across the Great Plains. Top 10 warmth also extended to the south and included Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And then the warmth also moving right on through the Gulf Coast states and up the Atlantic seaboard. All those states also ranking in their top 10 warmest springs.
Needless to say, cool weather discussion for this spring was limited. As an example,
Arizona did come up on that list as the coolest state, but even there, it was still the 26th warmest. So it's way into the upper part of the distribution. No state was in the lower half or the cool half of that spring historical distribution.
As for the range of precipitation this past meteorological spring across the country,
there was some dryness in the west, 27th driest spring in Colorado, 28th in Idaho. But then as you move eastward, it was a top 10 wet spring in states like Oklahoma, Kentucky, and then several eastern states, including Delaware, Vermont, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire.
The month of May, weather-wise across the country, had some highlightable weather.
It was overall a warm, wet May, 26th warmest and 13th wettest on record.
With weather highlights on a state perspective, including,
it was the wettest on record in Alabama. That wetness extended pretty broadly to 12 other states, mostly in the southern and eastern part of the U.S. And briefly, in terms of temperatures, we saw a range from the 36th coolest May in Oklahoma, Florida, and California, both ranking in the top 10 for May heat.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Find the latest happenings in your community by checking out the community calendar page at krvn.com. Local dances, craft shows, kids activities, quilt workshops, meetings, and more can all be found at the